My husband abandoned me in a storm. What my kids discovered changed everything. The unraveling of my life began during a thunderstorm in Toronto, though I didn't realize it at the time. As Sarah Chan, age 43, my story begins with a seemingly ordinary request for a ride home that would expose not just the cracks in my marriage, but a web of international corporate espionage, hidden identities, and a decades-old revenge plot that would shake our family to its core. That fateful Friday evening found me stranded at the university library where I'd worked as a cataloger for 15 years. Suddenly took on a sinister new significance. Mai's upcoming piano recital, meant to be her triumph before heading to university, became the focal point of multiple converging plots. The event was to be attended by several high-profile investors, including representatives from a mysterious Singapore-based cryptocurrency firm. What none of us knew was that the firm was a front for the same criminal syndicate that had been hunting David and Jasmine for decades. The discovery of a hidden vault beneath our company headquarters revealed the true scope of what we were dealing with. Behind a false wall in the old server room, we found a cache of documents dating back to the early 1990s, detailing a complex network of shell companies, offshore accounts, and coded communications. Among the papers was a photograph that changed everything. A young Jasmine Wong, standing next to my father at a banking conference in Switzerland. My father, who had allegedly died in a hiking accident when I was 12, was very much alive in the photo, dated just 3 years ago. The technology our company had developed wasn't just valuable, it was revolutionary. The educational software contained a hidden framework capable of tracking and tracing every cryptocurrency transaction ever made, potentially exposing billions in hidden assets and years of financial crimes. This was why Jasmine had returned, why David had betrayed us, and why Marcus's birth mother had died. The stakes weren't just about money anymore. They were about exposing a decades-long conspiracy that reached into the highest levels of international finance. As Mai's recital approached, Marcus discovered something else in the company's old security footage. The night of the thunderstorm, when David had abandoned me, he hadn't been meeting Jasmine at all. The GPS data from his Tesla showed him driving to a private airfield outside the city, where satellite imagery captured a meeting with a figure I recognized from old family photos, my supposedly dead father. The pieces were falling into place, but the picture they formed was more dangerous than anything we could have imagined. Our family drama had unknowingly placed us at the center of an international conspiracy, and Mai's piano recital was about to become ground zero for its explosive conclusion. The night of the recital arrived with an unexpected thunderstorm, eerily similar to the one that had started everything. As Mai took her place at the grand piano, Marcus was monitoring security feeds from his laptop, and I was watching the audience for familiar faces. None of us were prepared for what happened next. The first notes of Beethoven's Appassionata filled the concert hall just as the power went out. In the darkness, multiple plots converged in a chaos of gunfire, federal agents emerging from the audience, and the revelation that Mai's piano contained a quantum computer capable of controlling the world's financial markets. In the midst of the chaos, I finally came face to face with the truth about my family, my company, and the complex web of lies that had brought us to this moment. The real question wasn't who had betrayed whom. It was whether any of us had ever been who we claimed to be at all. The next 48 hours unfolded like a fever dream. As federal agents secured the concert hall, Mai's piano was revealed to be more than just an instrument. The quantum computer hidden within its frame had been processing complex algorithmic patterns through her music for years. Every recital, every practice session had been part of a sophisticated code-breaking operation. Mai's prodigious musical talent wasn't just genetic. It had been carefully cultivated through a secret program dating back to the Cold War. Marcus's role in the conspiracy proved equally shocking. His software expertise hadn't developed by chance. The private investigator he'd hired wasn't working for him. He had been working for Marcus. My stepson, it turned out, was a deep-cover operative for an international cybersecurity task force planted in our family years before I'd even met David. His mission had been to monitor the development of our company's technology, ensuring it didn't fall into the wrong hands. The educational software platform we built contained something revolutionary, a quantum encryption system disguised as a learning algorithm. Every student who had ever used our digital textbooks had unknowingly been part of a vast quantum computing network, capable of breaking any existing encryption protocol. The implications for global financial markets, military communications, and national security were staggering. David, or Daniel, or whatever his real name was, had been tracked to a private airstrip outside Vancouver. But the man authorities found there wasn't my husband at all. Advanced facial recognition technology revealed he was one of several deep-cover agents using the same identity, part of an elaborate shell game that had been running for decades. The real David/Daniel remained at large, along with my father and a substantial portion of the world's cryptocurrency reserves. Jasmine's true identity proved even more complex. Fingerprint analysis revealed revealed she was actually twins, Elena and Sofia Petrovsky, former Soviet chess prodigies who had been recruited by various intelligence agencies in the 1990s. One sister had been working with David, while the other had been working to catch him. The question of which sister had been in Toronto and which had been in Singapore remained unanswered. The revelation about my own identity came last and hit the hardest. The genetic test results Marcus had run months ago hadn't been about paternity at all. They had been confirming a suspicion about my own origins. I wasn't Sarah Chun, daughter of a Hong Kong banker and a Vancouver schoolteacher. I was Sarah Blackwood, daughter of one of the most notorious financial criminals of the 20th century and unknowing heir to a cryptocurrency fortune that could destabilize the global economy. My father, my real father, had orchestrated everything. The sabotaged car, the thunderstorm, David's betrayal, even Mai's musical education. It had all been part of a decades-long plan to create and control the perfect money laundering system. The educational technology company had been a front, the digital textbooks a smokescreen, and my entire life a carefully constructed lie. As international law enforcement closed in on our Toronto headquarters, Mai revealed one final twist. Her latest composition, the one she had been practicing obsessively for months, wasn't just music. When played through the quantum computer, it was a key. The key to accessing every hidden account, every secret identity, every buried truth in this labyrinthine conspiracy. The choice now lay before us. Use the key to expose everything, potentially crashing the global financial system in the process, or destroy it and let some secrets remain buried. The decision would affect not just our family, but the stability of governments and financial institutions worldwide. Marcus argued for full disclosure, believing the truth should come out regardless of consequences. Mai, seeing the bigger picture through her musician's eye for patterns, advocated for a more nuanced approach. And I, caught between my false past and uncertain future, had to decide whether to trust my children, who might not even be my children at all. The final confrontation took place in the most unlikely of settings, the same library where this had all begun. As multiple intelligence agencies converged on our location, Mai sat at a simple upright piano in the reading room, her fingers hovering over the keys. Marcus had his laptop open, ready to broadcast whatever she played across the quantum network. And I stood between them and a dozen armed agents, holding an encryption key that could change the world. The sound of thunder rolled overhead, and in that moment, I finally understood the true meaning of family. It wasn't about blood or genetics, manufactured identities, or carefully constructed lies. It was about the choices we make and the truths we choose to believe. What happened next in that library would be debated in classified briefing rooms for years to come. Mai's fingers touched the keys, playing a melody so complex it seemed to defy the laws of music theory. The sound rippled through the quantum network, triggering a cascade of events across global financial systems. Marcus's fingers flew across his keyboard, directing the flow of data, while I used my encryption key to ensure the chaos remained controlled. In Hong Kong, Singapore, and Zurich, banking systems briefly went dark. When they came back online, billions in cryptocurrency had been redistributed, hidden accounts exposed, and decades of financial crimes laid bare. But Mai's musical algorithm did something else, something nobody had anticipated. It created a financial firewall, preventing total economic collapse while exposing only the most egregious offenders. David/Daniel was apprehended at a private airport in Malta, alongside one of the Petrovsky twins. The other sister was found in a high-security data center in Estonia, attempting to implement a competing quantum algorithm. My father, the architect of this decades-long scheme, had anticipated even this outcome. His body was discovered in his Singapore penthouse, but the DNA test revealed a truth that shook me to my core. He had died years ago. The man pulling the strings had been someone else entirely, using deepfake technology and my father's identity to manipulate events from afar. The true mastermind was revealed to be someone we had overlooked completely, Mai's piano teacher. For 30 years, she had placed prodigies in strategic positions worldwide, using music as a cover for the largest cryptographic operation in history. Each student's performances had been unknowingly contributing to a quantum decryption key that could have given her control over the world's financial systems. Marcus's long game was finally revealed as well. He hadn't been working for just one cybersecurity task force. He had been coordinating between multiple international agencies, using his position within our family to monitor not just David, but everyone involved in the conspiracy. His birth mother's death, while still tragic, had been what recruited him to the cause, turning him into one of the most effective deep-cover operatives in history. The aftermath transformed our lives in ways none of us could have predicted. The company's educational technology, stripped of its quantum components, was reformed into a legitimate enterprise focused on actual learning innovation. Mai's musical genius, no longer bound to cryptographic duties, flourished in new and authentic ways. She composed pieces that captured our story in abstract form, performing them in concerts that were just concerts, nothing more. Marcus emerged from deep cover to head a new international cybersecurity initiative, using his experience to prevent similar conspiracies from taking root. His relationship with us, though born in deception, had grown into something genuine. The skills that had made him an excellent spy, patience, observation, empathy, made him an even better son and brother. As for me, the revelation about my true identity led to an unexpected peace. Sarah Blackwood or Sarah Chen. The name mattered less than the person I had chosen to be. The inheritance my father had left me, both financial and philosophical, was mine to reshape. I dedicated myself to using those resources to protect others from the kind of manipulation that had defined our lives for so long. The story made headlines worldwide, though few knew the full truth. International financial conspiracy exposed through musical prodigy's performance barely scratched the surface. The public knew about the cryptocurrency manipulation, the corporate espionage, and the arrests, but the deeper truth about quantum computing, musical cryptography, and generational manipulation remained classified. 5 years later, our lives had found a new rhythm. The library where everything had culminated was renovated into a music and technology education center, funded anonymously through some of the recovered assets. I taught piano there sometimes, her students learning pure music, free from hidden algorithms. Marcus's cybersecurity firm occupied the top floor, while I managed the educational programs that operated out of the lower levels. David, or whatever his real name was, served his sentence quietly, eventually providing information that helped dismantle similar operations worldwide. The Petrovsky twins negotiated deals in exchange for their expertise, helping to secure the very systems they had once tried to exploit. My father's impersonator was never found, though Marcus suspected he occasionally attended Mai's concerts, watching from the back row. The quantum computer network was dismantled, its components secured in various high-security facilities around the world. Mai's musical key, the only thing capable of fully activating it, existed now only in her memory, encrypted in a melody she would never play again. The piano from the recital was retired to a private museum, its secret components removed, restored to being simply an instrument again. Our family dinner conversations were different now. We could discuss the truth openly, making sense of the roles we had played in this grand deception. The twins shared knowing looks when thunder rolled overhead, while Marcus finally relaxed his constant vigilance. My composed music that was beautiful simply for its own sake, though sometimes I caught her fingers moving in patterns that seemed just a bit too precise to be purely artistic. The company thrived, its technology now genuinely focused on education. Our digital textbooks helped students learn, nothing more and nothing less. The quantum encryption algorithms were replaced with conventional security, and our mission statement was rewritten to reflect a simpler truth. Knowledge, honestly shared, was power enough. Life settled into a new normal, though we never fully let our guard down. Marcus insisted on maintaining certain security protocols, and Mai kept her perfect pitch sharp through regular practice. I learned to live with the uncertainty about my true origins, finding identity in my choices rather than my genetics. The thunder still made me pause sometimes, remembering that night when everything began to unravel. But now it carried a different meaning, not of betrayal and deception, but of revelation and renewal. Our family had been forged in a storm of lies, but it had emerged stronger for having faced the truth together. In the end, the greatest conspiracy had been thinking we could separate love from truth, family from authenticity. We had all been players in a grand deception, but the feelings we had developed for each other, those had been real. Perhaps that was the most powerful encryption of all. The way love could hide in plain sight, genuine despite its surroundings, waiting to be recognized rather than decoded. Mai's latest composition, premiered at the renovated library's opening, said it best. She called it Thunder's Truth, a piece that began in chaos and ended in clarity, much like our own story. As I watched her play, Marcus at my side and our future ahead of us, I realized that some mysteries were better left unsolved. The truth of who we had become mattered more than the lies that had brought us together. A decade after the events that had transformed our lives, a new threat emerged from an unexpected quarter. It began with a series of seemingly unrelated incidents: a power fluctuation during one of Mai's concerts in Berlin, unauthorized access attempts at Marcus's cybersecurity firm, and strange patterns appearing in the educational software's usage data. The first concrete warning came through an old quantum channel that should have been dormant. Someone was attempting to reconstruct the network, piece by piece, using fragments of code gathered from thousands of students who had used our original educational software. More disturbing still, they were using a new form of musical cryptography that bore an unmistakable similarity to Mai's original compositions. Investigation revealed a surprising source: a group of former students who had used our educational software during its quantum encrypted phase. They had unknowingly absorbed patterns that had altered their neural pathways, creating what Marcus called human quantum processors. These students, now adults in positions of power across the global financial sector, were unconsciously working to rebuild the system that had once nearly brought down the world's economy. The piano teacher, still serving her sentence in a high-security facility, had planted this failsafe without anyone's knowledge. Each student who had used the software had become a sleeper agent of sorts, their brains rewired to process quantum algorithms without their awareness. The educational company hadn't just been teaching, it had been programming an entire generation. Mai discovered she could identify these individuals through their response to specific musical sequences. During a worldwide concert tour, she began testing audience members, compiling a database of those who had been affected. The scope was staggering: thousands of people, from bank executives to government officials, all carrying fragments of quantum code in their subconscious minds. Marcus's cybersecurity firm shifted focus to developing a musical vaccine, a countermelody that could undo the quantum programming without damaging the subject's natural cognitive abilities. The challenge was enormous. Too aggressive an approach could cause widespread memory loss, while too subtle an intervention might fail to prevent the quantum network's resurrection. Meanwhile, I uncovered evidence that my father's impersonator hadn't been working alone. The deepfake technology used to maintain his facade had come from a classified military program, suggesting involvement at the highest levels of government. The conspiracy hadn't just been about financial control. It had been a test run for a new form of warfare, using music and mathematics to reprogram human consciousness. David, nearing the end of his sentence, provided crucial information about the military program's origins. The Petrovsky twins, now working as consultants for various intelligence agencies, confirmed his claims. The quantum encryption system had been phase one of a larger project codenamed Symphony, an attempt to create a human quantum computer network that could operate independently of any physical hardware. The renovation of our lives over the past decade had been built on sand. The library's music education center, Marcus's cybersecurity firm, even Mai's pure musical compositions, all had been unwittingly perpetuating the very system we thought we'd dismantled. Every student who learned there, every piece of code written, every note played had been reinforcing the quantum network's neural pathways. A new confrontation loomed, but this time the battlefield was the human mind itself. Mai's musical abilities had evolved beyond simple cryptography. She could now perceive the quantum patterns in human brain activity, reading the code that had been implanted in an entire generation. Marcus's technology could track the spread of this neural network, watching as unconscious connections formed between affected individuals worldwide. The piano teacher, despite her imprisonment, had achieved something unprecedented: the creation of a human quantum computer distributed across thousands of minds. Each affected person was a node in this living network, their daily decisions and actions influenced by mathematical patterns they couldn't consciously perceive. As thunder rolled over Toronto once again, our family faced a new challenge: how to free thousands of minds from quantum programming without destroying the people they had become. The conspiracy hadn't ended 5 years ago. It had merely entered a new phase, one that blurred the lines between technology and consciousness, between music and mathematics, between education and programming. Mai's next concert would be more than a performance. It would be an attempt to broadcast the neural antidote to quantum programming worldwide. Marcus's security systems would monitor the effects in real time, while I coordinated with international authorities to manage the aftermath. The stakes were even higher than before. We weren't just protecting financial systems now, we were fighting for the autonomy of human consciousness itself. The thunder that had once signaled the unraveling of our family now heralded a different kind of storm, one that would determine not just our fate, but the future of human cognition. As Mai took her place at the piano once again, we prepared to face this new challenge together, our family bonds strengthened by the knowledge that some conspiracies never truly end. They just evolve into new forms, waiting for the next generation to confront them. The global quantum deprogramming concert was scheduled for the winter solstice, when atmospheric conditions would be optimal for worldwide transmission. Mai's performance would be broadcast simultaneously across every continent, through a network of specially modified concert halls. The choice of date wasn't just scientific, it had symbolic significance. The longest night of the year would mark either humanity's liberation from quantum programming or its complete surrender to it. The preparation was unprecedented. Marcus's security firm had developed quantum-sensitive sensors to be installed in every broadcast location, monitoring the neural responses of audience members in real time. I coordinated with health organizations worldwide, preparing for possible adverse reactions to the deprogramming sequence. The military, finally acknowledging their role in Project Symphony, provided backup systems and security. What we didn't expect was the piano teacher's final gambit. 3 days before the concert, Mai received a package containing her old practice book from childhood. Hidden within its pages was a revelation that shook our carefully laid plans. The quantum programming had a dead man's switch. Any attempt to remove it would trigger a cascade effect, potentially wiping out decades of memories from affected individuals. The discovery sent Marcus into a frenzy of recalculation. The neural pathways created by the quantum programming hadn't just modified cognitive processes, they had become intertwined with personal memories, emotional connections, and learned skills. Removing the programming risked destroying everything that made these people who they were. Mai spent 72 sleepless hours composing a new sequence, one that would preserve memories while neutralizing the quantum network. Her solution was brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of erasing the programming, she would transform it into something harmless. The quantum pathways would remain, but they would carry music instead of mathematics, emotion instead of algorithms. The night of the concert arrived with an unexpected meteorological phenomenon, synchronized thunderstorms across every broadcast location. As Mai took her place at the piano in Toronto's Rogers Centre, satellite imagery showed identical storm systems forming over concert halls in London, Tokyo, Sydney, Moscow, and dozens of other cities. The performance began with Bach's Goldberg Variations, a piece chosen for its mathematical precision and emotional depth. As Mai played, Marcus's monitoring systems detected the first neural responses. The quantum network was activating, but not in the way we'd anticipated. Instead of fighting the deprogramming attempt, it was resonating with the music, creating new patterns of connection between affected individuals. In Singapore, a group of investment bankers suddenly began humming in perfect harmony. In Zurich, financial analysts started moving in synchronized patterns, their movements matching the rhythm of Mai's playing. The quantum network wasn't being destroyed. It was being repurposed, transformed from a tool of control into something entirely new. The piano teacher, watching from her prison cell, smiled for the first time in years. Her true goal was finally revealed. Project Symphony hadn't been about control or financial manipulation. It had been an attempt to create a new form of human consciousness, one that could bridge the gap between quantum computing and artistic creation. As Mai's performance reached its climax, the thunderstorms intensified. Lightning struck the broadcast towers simultaneously across the globe, but instead of disrupting the transmission, it amplified it. The quantum network pulsed with newfound energy, connecting minds not through mathematical algorithms, but through pure musical expression. The aftermath defied all prediction. The affected individuals retain their memories and skills, but gain something extraordinary: the ability to perceive and process quantum information through musical intuition. Bankers became composers, analysts turned into conductors, and a new form of global communication emerged, one based on harmony rather than data. Marcus's monitoring systems captured everything, documenting the birth of what he called quantum consciousness. The military's weapon had become a gift, transforming potential slaves into pioneers of a new form of human experience. The piano teacher's true legacy wasn't control, it was evolution. Mai herself underwent the most dramatic transformation. Her connection to the quantum network deepened, allowing her to compose music that existed simultaneously in multiple quantum states. Her concerts became experiences that transcended traditional perception, drawing audiences into a shared consciousness that merged mathematics, music, and emotion. The educational software company evolved yet again, now developing programs that helped people understand and control their quantum musical abilities. The library's Music Education Center became a research facility studying the intersection of quantum physics and artistic expression. Even David, from his prison cell, contributed insights into the phenomenon he had unknowingly helped create. As for me, watching my family navigate this new reality brought unexpected peace. The conspiracy we had feared had become a catalyst for human advancement. The thunder that had once heralded betrayal now announced breakthroughs in human potential. But we weren't naive enough to think all threats had passed. The military's interest in quantum consciousness hadn't waned, and other organizations sought to exploit this new human capability. Our family's role had shifted from exposing a conspiracy to protecting a revolution, one that blended science and art, technology and consciousness, individual identity and collective harmony. Mai's next composition was already taking shape in her mind, its quantum harmonies promising to push the boundaries of human experience even further. Marcus's security systems evolved to protect not just data, but the very essence of human consciousness. And I found myself writing a new kind of textbook, one that would help future generations understand their place in this quantum-enhanced world. The thunder still rolls over Toronto, but its meaning continues to evolve. Each storm reminds us that transformation never truly ends. It just moves to different scales, challenging us to grow in ways we never imagined possible. Our family story, begun in betrayal and deception, has become part of something larger: humanity's first steps into a quantum-conscious future. As Mai sits at her piano, preparing to push the boundaries of human perception once again, I realize that our greatest challenge lies ahead: ensuring that this new form of consciousness serves humanity's growth rather than its destruction. The conspiracy may have ended, but our role as guardians of this quantum revolution is just beginning. The first signs of trouble appeared 18 months after the global quantum awakening. Reports emerged of quantum-conscious individuals experiencing synchronized nightmares, their shared dreams filled with complex mathematical patterns and discordant melodies. Mai was the first to recognize the significance. Someone was attempting to inject malicious code into the quantum network through the subconscious mind. The attack was sophisticated and multi-layered. During normal consciousness, the affected individuals showed no signs of manipulation. But in their sleep, their quantum-enhanced minds were being used to solve complex encryption algorithms, each dream state contributing to a massive distributed computing effort. The goal became clear. Someone was trying to crack the quantum encryption protecting the world's most sensitive data. Marcus's security systems tracked the source to an unexpected location: the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Deep beneath the Arctic ice, a quantum computer had been modified to broadcast signals that resonated with human quantum consciousness. More disturbing was the identity of the perpetrator: Dr. Elena Rosenberg, the piano teacher's former research partner from the original Project Symphony. Rosenberg had recognized a vulnerability in the quantum conscious network. While awake, people could control their quantum abilities, but during sleep, their minds became susceptible to external influence. She had spent years developing what she called the Discord Protocol, a method of using musical dissonance to disrupt and redirect quantum consciousness. The threat was existential. If Rosenberg succeeded, she could turn the gift of quantum consciousness into a nightmare, transforming millions of sleeping minds into an unwitting supercomputer network. The military implications were staggering. Armies could be controlled through their dreams, security systems bypassed by sleeping operators, and global financial markets manipulated by unconscious traders. Mai recognized that traditional countermeasures would be useless. The solution had to come through music itself. She began composing a protective symphony, one that would need to be played continuously, creating a quantum shield around the conscious and unconscious minds of affected individuals. But the composition posed its own dangers. One wrong note, one misaligned harmony, and the shield could become a weapon more dangerous than Rosenberg's attack. The piano teacher, now understanding the full scope of what her research had unleashed, made an unprecedented offer. She would help defeat Rosenberg in exchange for a full pardon. Her insights into the quantum musical connection were crucial, but trusting her meant risking everything we'd built. Marcus discovered something even more alarming. Rosenberg's Discord protocol wasn't just attacking human minds. It was attempting to influence quantum states throughout the natural world. Plants exposed to the Discord showed accelerated mutation rates. Animals exhibited synchronized behavioral changes. The boundary between organic consciousness and quantum computing was dissolving. The confrontation would require a coordinated global effort. Mai's protective symphony needed to be performed simultaneously at specific locations worldwide, creating a quantum resonance field that would shield both human consciousness and the natural world. The logistics were daunting. Hundreds of quantum-conscious musicians would need to perform in perfect synchronization, their minds linked through the very network they were trying to protect. The operation was codenamed Harmonic Shield. As Mai took her place at the central piano in Toronto, quantum-conscious musicians worldwide prepared to join the performance. The military provided security, while Marcus's systems monitored quantum fluctuations across the globe. I coordinated with environmental scientists, tracking the protocol's effect on ecological systems. What we didn't anticipate was Rosenberg's contingency plan. As the harmonic shield began to form, she activated quantum resonators buried at key points along the Earth's ley lines. The discord spread through the planet's natural electromagnetic field, threatening to turn the entire Earth into a quantum amplifier for her protocol. The piano teacher recognized the pattern. It was a modified version of her original quantum encryption system. The solution wasn't to block Rosenberg's signal, but to transpose it. Mai would need to modify her symphony in real time, transforming the discord into harmony without disrupting the quantum field protecting human consciousness. The next 12 hours tested the limits of human potential. Mai conducted a global orchestra of minds, each musician contributing to a quantum composition that existed simultaneously in multiple states. The thunder that had become our family's harbinger of change rolled continuously, as if nature itself was participating in the performance. Rosenberg's discord reached its crescendo beneath the Arctic ice, but found itself transformed by the harmonic shield. The malicious code became part of the protection, its mathematical precision strengthening, rather than weakening the quantum network. In a final twist of irony, her attack had helped create the very defense needed to prevent future incursions. The aftermath brought new understanding of quantum consciousness and its connection to the natural world. The harmonic shield had not only protected human minds, but had established a permanent quantum resonance with the Earth's electromagnetic field. Quantum consciousness was no longer just a human phenomenon. It had become part of the planet's natural systems. Mai's role evolved beyond musician or composer. She became a guardian of this new quantum harmony, her compositions maintaining the delicate balance between human consciousness and natural quantum states. Marcus's security firm expanded into environmental protection, developing ways to monitor and maintain quantum stability in ecosystems worldwide. The piano teacher, true to her word, provided crucial insights into managing this new reality. Her original vision of quantum consciousness as a bridge between human perception and natural law had been prophetic. But she warned that Rosenberg's attack was only the beginning. Others would attempt to exploit the connection between mind, music, and quantum reality. As for me, I found myself documenting this new chapter in human evolution, recording the ways in which quantum consciousness was reshaping our understanding of reality itself. The company's educational mission expanded to include teaching future generations how to live in harmony with their quantum-enhanced awareness and the natural world. The thunder still rolls over Toronto. now carrying quantum harmonies that connect human consciousness to the very pulse of the planet. Our family's story has become intertwined with the Earth's own quantum symphony, each crisis and resolution adding new movements to an endless composition. My sits at her piano, her music maintaining the quantum harmony that protects both humanity and nature. Marcus monitors the delicate balance between consciousness and computation, and I watch as our family's legacy continues to evolve, knowing that each challenge we face brings us closer to understanding the true potential of quantum consciousness. The next movement of this cosmic symphony is already beginning, as new patterns emerge in the quantum field. The thunder grows distant, but its message remains clear. In the quantum-conscious world, every ending is just a prelude to a new beginning. 20 years after the thunderstorm that first shattered our lives, our family gathered one last time in the renovated library where everything had begun. Mai, now a renowned quantum composer, had chosen this location for her most important performance, her retirement concert. At 50, her quantum-enhanced abilities had evolved beyond what anyone had thought possible, but she understood the importance of passing the torch to the next generation. Marcus, his temples now gray, had completed the integration of his quantum security systems with the planet's natural defenses. His life's work had ensured that quantum consciousness would remain a tool for humanity's growth rather than its destruction. The military had finally accepted that some powers couldn't and shouldn't be weaponized. The piano teacher, in her final days, revealed the true origin of Project Symphony. It hadn't been a government program or a financial scheme. It had been her attempt to restore something humanity had lost centuries ago. Ancient texts she discovered suggested that quantum consciousness had once been humanity's natural state, lost as civilization turned away from music and toward pure mathematics. As Mai took her place at the piano for her final public performance, 3 generations of our family watched from the audience. Her own children, born with natural quantum consciousness, understood music as both art and universal law. Marcus's twins had inherited his gift for protecting the quantum harmony. Even David, released from prison and reconciled with his past, had come to witness this moment. The composition Mai played that night was called Full Circle, a piece that incorporated every element of our journey. The thunderstorm that had started everything returned one final time, its timing so perfect it seemed orchestrated by nature itself. As she played, the quantum network hummed with accumulated wisdom, connecting every conscious mind to the rhythm of existence itself. I realized then that our family's story had never really been about betrayal, conspiracy, or even quantum consciousness. It had been about the endless capacity of love to transform and transcend, to turn darkness into light, discord into harmony. The thunder that had once heralded destruction now announced creation. The music that had been weaponized had become a universal language of peace. The company we'd fought so hard to protect had evolved into something its founders could never have imagined. A global institute dedicated to maintaining harmony between human consciousness and the natural world. The textbooks that had once hidden quantum code now taught openly about humanity's place in the cosmic symphony. As the final notes faded, Mai smiled at her audience. She didn't need to speak. The music had said everything. The quantum network pulsed with shared understanding, not just of the performance, but of our collective journey from isolation to connection, from discord to harmony. Our family's legacy would live on not in buildings or businesses, but in the quantum harmony that now connected all living things. The thunder still rolls over Toronto, carrying in its voice the memory of every storm we weathered together. And in that sound, I finally hear what the piano teacher had known all along. Music isn't just an art or a science. It's the fundamental language of existence itself. The story that began with a betrayal in a thunderstorm ends with a symphony of universal harmony. Our family, once torn apart by lies, had become instrumental in humanity's greatest transformation. As Mai's final note resonated through the quantum field, I understood that every ending is just a different form of beginning. The thunder fades, the music settles, but the harmony remains in our hearts, in our minds, and in the quantum consciousness that connects us all. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories.